and welcome Gemini to your July messages. Keep in mind these are collective and general, so receive what aligns, release what doesn't. Never give your power away to a reading or an outcome. Remember, you're a conscious creator and you shift and change your timeline with your free will choice. So let's get into this, Gemini. So starting out, kind of a main theme here for you is self-love. Okay, so taking the time to focus on your self-love, whether that's appreciating yourself, self-care, putting yourself first. It's time to pour into you, okay? The reason that it's time to pour into you is because it feels like you've been giving a lot of your time and energy away. And I know that you care about others, but in order to really serve and help others, you've got to pour from a full cup, not an empty one. I know it's not always possible, but I feel like that's a shift that's happening within you, Gemini, in July, is realizing how important self-love is. This also is going to improve your confidence. It's going to improve your vibrational frequency, which means you'll attract in higher frequency experiences and people, and you're going to be starting to bloom more kind of in your own time with this self-love energy. So is your intuition. I feel like for many of you, if your intuition was clouded, I feel like that's something that is clearing. I can personally say as a channel, like if I'm not taking care of myself, my energy levels are not aligned, I cannot channel. It's kind of a way that, the universe parents me, okay, or my higher self parents me so that I don't drain myself, right? That I'm coming from an aligned place. Well, that same message is coming out for you here too, Gemini. Now, for some of you, we have I miss you, do you. Some of you, there's a possible reconciliation that's going to happen in July, or there's someone in particular that's missing you or that you're missing yourself. For those of you that are at a bit of crossroads, and some of you, it might be like you wear your hair up in a messy bun. Maybe you like to jog or you like to hike, and you've recently come to a crossroads where you weren't sure what direction to go in. That's something that's standing out here. But it says what's kind of blocking your blessings, or for some of you, love or relationships, is you're afraid to make a mistake, so you won't commit either way. So you're at a place of indecision. You're at a place of crossroads here, Gemini. That's what's coming through. Now, it could be about romance. It could be about a career move. It could be about some sort of lifestyle change. But that's what's showing up here in July. We also have the Four of Pentacles. So we have you holding on very tightly and grounding and not really sharing a whole lot. So this almost reminds me of your heart space kind of being, you're just keeping things to yourself, right? You're preserving your resources. You're not overspending. You're preparing for some sort of change. And it almost reminds me of the cocoon sort of energy, where you go into your cocoon and there's this change that's happening, and you might kind of not be as social in July, or you might need more time to yourself, because there is a lot of magic and transformation happening with the Wheel of Fortune. You are preparing for change. You might not even know it, okay? Like your soul knows it, but maybe your human self doesn't know it, but all of a sudden you're like, I just don't want to spend time with so many people. I want to take some space and time to rest, or read by myself, or recharge, or focus on this. And that's kind of what you're doing. That Four of Pentacles is kind of like your boundary that you're setting with others, so that there can be this transformation, there can be this alchemy, this manifestation. The Wheel of Fortune is the universe working out in your favor, things moving forward in your favor. Okay? So that's really beautiful. Now we have the Ten of Swords and we have the Empress energy. So some of you, again, you might have been pouring from an empty cup for too long, people pleasing. Maybe watch Aquarius's reading, because that was a theme in it. And other people are benefiting from you pretty much exhausting yourself. So make sure that you're balancing out those relationships and those roles, maybe within your partnership, because it feels like it's very unbalanced. Some of you, it's just you're going to be pouring from a full cup instead of an empty cup. You're going to be putting yourself first. You're going to be prioritizing your self-love with that Empress energy. Instead of always being in your masculine, you're going to relax more into your feminine. Then you're going to realize how things seem to align more for you here, okay? With that Empress energy. We also have the Fool and the Hangman energy. So there has been some sort of new beginning. And you kind of you've come close to it, and they're like, I'm not so sure. Maybe, I'm not so sure. Because you're at this place of indecision, and it could be a career path change, But it feels like in July we have the Sun. You make a choice and you move forward with clarity and with confidence. And I feel like Spirit points out the best choice for you. And it's so interesting because your soul coaching card is commitment. Okay? And your business and career card is the perception energy. So being aware of your perception of yourself, your perception of your career path, your perception, of your business perhaps, because you're realizing that your perception creates your reality more and more here. So let's go ahead and read the commitment card. Now, keep in mind, this could be vice versa with someone that you're perhaps involved with as well. So we have card meaning. This is the time to make the commitment. So stand tall, don't hesitate, and give your word. Keep your promise, and your word becomes law in your universe. Your soul wants you to know that making a commitment is taking a stand. It's declaring to yourself and the universe that you're unwilling to settle for less than excellence. It means that you keep your word, especially to yourself. Fear of doing this because you might fail sends a message to your subconscious mind that you are a failure. Of course, there's always the possibility that you might not succeed, but to hesitate because of fear instead of forging forward keeps joy and freedom at bay. So decide now. Any decision is better than none at all. The most important promises that you make are to yourself. Forgive yourself when you don't honor your word, and then without shame, recommit yourself with passion and gusto. The affirmation is, my commitments increase my joy and freedom. So I think that's a pretty good direction, is joy and freedom for you, right? So it feels like it's important you set boundaries with yourself and make a commitment to yourself. Now, this could be, again, about your career path. This could be about some changes that you want to make. I am sensing there is a bit of frustration. There is a bit of resentment with certain people in your life. So make sure that your relationships and your connections are balanced, and that you're not the one always putting in the effort, because that could be something that's really a struggle and a challenge for you. The whole reason that this manifestation has been on delay has been your indecision. And this happens all the time. When I'm connecting and talking with people, they're like, why hasn't this shown up? Why hasn't this shown up? And it's like, have you made up your mind? Have you said to the universe, this is what I desire? And have you stood by that choice, or have you been back and forth and wishy-washy? Because then that's what's mirrored back to you. So I think you had to realize and have your clarity, but you also had to prepare your energy as well to rest and recharge and balance out relationships, set boundaries with relationships that were draining. Maybe you had to preserve your resources or your finances to prepare for this new beginning. Okay. But it feels like your perception is changing. Your kind of way of navigating is changing. And I think you're going to surprise some people here, Gemini. I think some people are going to be pretty shocked at the boundaries that you're going to put in place, or the stands, that the way in which you're going to stand up for yourself, right? And what you're going to stand up for here. But again, like that joy and freedom. And I feel, again, it has been a bit of a dance of back and forth for you. But I feel in July, you're going to move forward with some sort of dream, with some sort of career opportunity, with something that is really exciting, recharging. And even like when I see the joyful energy, it's like the inner child energy too. And I feel like you and your joy and you and your freedom and you and your expansion, if you are, in a family, that's something that's going to also benefit your family, right? That's going to benefit your children. If they see you taking, making aligned choices and setting boundaries and being a healthy example, like that's going to benefit them too, right? So, wow, pretty powerful here, Gemini. Let's clarify that Ten of Swords here real quick. I think for some of you, it was trying to do something the same way over and over again, and it just not working out, and it creating kind of energy leaks. Some of you, work was really stressful, so then like your habits and routines were kind of to try and make up for that, but they weren't the healthiest, and that's something else. You could also, with that Empress energy, be making some choices and decisions to become healthier and happier within your experience. But let's clarify that Ten of Swords for my Geminis. The Four of Swords, resting and recharging. Absolutely. Making sure you're taking the time to rest, recharge, improve your sleep, meditate. You could be always on the go, 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 but not always sitting back and reflecting to decide, okay, what's working, what's not working, and kind of what's aligned and what's best. I think that you more so were in the masculine energy, Gemini, where you are always taking action and being very analytical, but you weren't aligning your inner energy. Your head, your heart, your soul were not on the same page. And now I feel like you're taking the time to do that so that you're in the mindset for this new beginning, for this success, for this happiness, for this healthy lifestyle, right? The Four of Swords also speaks about like resting and recharging. Some of you, if you're creators, you might have had creative, like a creative block, like I spoke about in the beginning, because your energy wasn't aligned, your energy was drained. So you're going to also, you go from the 10 of Swords to the 4 of Swords. So that means that you're going to be cutting out things that were draining. It could be friends that, talk on the phone for too long, never take accountability for their situations that drain you, you feel exhausted. So you set boundaries with them. It could be over drinking or, doing things in excess that are not healthy for you. And instead you're replacing those with healthier habits. But you're simplifying here, and it's really benefiting you with this Empress energy, because the Empress energy is about abundance, fulfillment. It's the feminine energy. It's nurturing, right? It's a beautiful energy coming through here, and this shift and change is wonderful for you because you are putting yourself first. You're valuing more of like how you feel in your experience instead of what you think you have to do all of the time, right? So there's this beautiful new beginning coming up for you because of that. Okay, and again, I spoke about how you being the example, setting that example for your children if you have children, with that Six of Cups energy, or even for your friends if you're, a leader in your experience. But the Six of Cups is also soulmate energy. It is the energy of receiving and giving gifts, okay? So it's also going to become very clear to you those relationships that are balanced versus those that are unbalanced. And then you'll be able to make the proper, set the proper boundaries here for yourself, okay? So I feel like overall this commitment that you're making isn't just to, I think for many of you it's to live a healthier lifestyle, more balanced lifestyle, but it's mostly a commitment to yourself, right? To choose a path of joy, to choose a path that brings in happiness and is healthy for you. And it doesn't just change your world and your experience, it changes those who are close to you too, in a very positive way. It balances things out. It makes, relationships and connections more healthy. And you're also really receiving and learning about manifestations and how, again, your perception creates your reality. So there's a lot happening here for you, Gemini. I'm going to take this into the extended. If you're interested, that's linked below in the extended videos only membership for my Patreon. If not, if you're leaving me here, I hope this brought you value and encouraged you on your healthy, aligned path that you're taking here. And yeah, if you needed, again, that bit of motivation, that it's also going to be helpful for and inspiring for others around you as well. If some of you thought it was selfish to do this, it's not. It's absolutely necessary to set boundaries and have healthy, balanced connections in your experience. So make that commitment to choose what's best for you, to pour from an empty cup, okay? All right, thank you so much for joining me. Take the best care of yourself, or pour from, a full cup, not an empty cup. Take the best care of yourself, fill up your cup, okay? And with positive, wonderful experiences and energies and people. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon.